Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back one of these interview episodes of the SWW show. I'm Mike, and today with me a special guest from decently around the world. To get us started, do you mind introducing yourself and the game we're here to talk about?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. How are you today? I'm Kazaro, solo developer for Endless RPG.
Perfect. So, for people who have never either heard of you or heard of Endless RPG, what is this?
Yeah. Endless RPG is a turn-based RPG, heavily inspired on Battle Brothers and XCOM. There are other games that was a great inspiration for it too, like Wildermyth and Magic the Gathering.
Okay.
And I'm a solo developer. This is the second game on the quote unquote franchise. And I'm from Brazil.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you for joining me today, all the way from Brazil. But yeah, so we're here, as we said, talk about Endless RPG, and I think we're kind of talking about kind of how your journey here. So for people, so we said this is kind of you're a solo developer, the second game in the series. What kind of is your background, kind of going into this game as a game developer? Is it a few games in? It sounds like for you.
Well, I always love RPGs, and I like to tweak the rules for D&D, and I'm been playing RPGs since I don't know, since forever, since 1990.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a decent. That's like. So what kind of an endless RPG or RPGs generally kind of what kind of games are you drawn to kind of in that space? Is it more turn-based? Is it more like I'm thinking more like Final Fantasy, kind of like the look kind of this game has? Is it more Western kind of? What kind of RPGs kind of do you kind of really pull from for your inspirations?
Yeah, my great inspiration came from Battle Brothers and XCOM. So if you get XCOM and bring it down to the medieval times, it will be most like that way, like just like Battle Brothers, but in a lighter tone. Okay, because I don't know if everybody is knowledgeable about Battle Brothers, but it's a turn-based game where you move the pieces. So unlike Final Fantasy, there's just enemies on the right and the players on the left. We don't have that on Endless RPG. You move the characters in the map.
Okay. No, that makes sense, kind of. So the big picture, obviously, as I was kind of seeing and kind of reading through and caught my eyes. So your whole pitch here is this is like a classless game, kind of like you kind of get to fully customize and not be tied down to like traditionally like stuff like job systems, any of those kind of systems you see in a lot of RPGs. How kind of do you kind of make it so a player isn't almost like bottled down by too much choice? I'm kind of curious kind of how this onboarding, kind of building these characters kind of works.
Yeah. So this is one thing that I love to construct. So I find the class systems too restrictive for most of the games. So Endless RPG is something that you can build whatever you want. So there are skills that you can learn to make a mage, to make a fighter, to make a skilled ranger. So and it boils down to the first skills that you get, because they have a tech tree. Like you learn the first weapon skill, then you progress towards that skill. Okay, and if you learn some magic skills, you go towards that skill tree. Okay, and you can mix and match then, and even more so, the more you use the skills, the better they get. So there are skill trees inside the skills. And one thing that you really said right now, and that can happen. Sometimes it's a little too much for the players. I try to get it, narrow it down to some options, but the hook of the game is that you really can be anything that you want. You want to be a spell wielding sword and shield fighter, you can do it. If you want a pure mage, you can do it. There are 5 classes of mage that you can mix them also. Not classes. You have 5 big branches of skill magic skills, just like Magic the Gathering with the colors: white, red, green, black, and blue.
Okay. So I want to jump in. So obviously, as you said there, which the big piece to start with is, so it's these skills in skills, right? So it's kind of like, it reminds me almost, Skyrim's kind of the game that RPG I could always think when I think of stuff like that, right? So I swung the sword a bunch and I started getting better at swinging the sword. The problem with that system, obviously, is this really weird thing where like skills can get like really off balance. So I could be like, I'm an expert sword wielder, but everything else like is horrible. So really late game, it almost like kind of gets worse and worse and worse. Is that something kind of you've been seeing kind of in your testing, whatever here, is kind of like players kind of make these decisions, and then at that point, then those characters kind of get naturally pigeonholed almost?
Yeah, so we care a lot about balancing. So not only the skills, but the way you address combat and what you have with like your equipment, your defenses matters in the combat. But we try like hell to make it the most balanced experience that we can get. So there are times that you specialize too much in one thing only, and that thing can be good for one character, and there are at least 4 characters in your party. So that guy will be, let's say, a can opener kind of guy, like mace heavy, training, etc. They will be very good against armored opponents, but he can't go that good. He can almost have a very hard time trying to get a very defensive kind of opponent, you know. And there are situations like that. But tell you what, there was one time that I saw a streamer play my game, and he got almost every character on their party with mix and match of skills, like warrior skills with mage skills with ranged skills, and it works. It works too. If you know how to do it, it's possible.
Do you have a preference? Like, do you kind of specialize your characters? Do you kind of do that little more mix-maxy kind of? What do you kind of?
Oh, I'm a very defensive heavy and white mage preference. So whenever I play, I tend to do that kind of road. So lots of or armor or defense. There are 2 different stats on my game. We call it guard, and usually white magic too, to recover my guys, to have somebody to back them up. And that's good in one way, because my brother that is the QA, he's the polar opposite to that. He's I am very defensive kind of guy, a very defensive kind of approach in combat, and he's very absolutely very heavy on the offense. So black mages, red mages, a lot of guys that can dish a lot of punishment, but they are glass cannons. And the interesting part is it works for him and it works for me.
Yeah, glass cannons have always been like the thing of like RPGs that like I functionally totally understand, but also like as a player I'm always so stressed playing with those characters. Because I'm always like one hit I'm just, or 2 hits, it's just like it's over. Well, it's like some of it in between, you're like, okay, I can take a couple hits, make a mistake. Well, like glass cannon's like, don't mess up.
Yeah, you can't step out of the line, and it's on Endless RPG, it's very easy to die with one guy. if they are unprotected and they are on a bad position, all that it takes is a good swing for the opponent. They are gone for that fight. But that's one. Another one of the approaches for Endless RPG. We try to make it as friendly as possible. So if your guy dies in a combat, or for some reason you're feeling that the combat is too difficult for you at the moment, there is no way. There is a way you can avoid that. Like you can flee when at any point of the combat. Okay, that's one thing that we try to make safe for the players, because you're trying to have fun. You try to play a combat, and if it's not interesting for you anymore, or if it's too difficult, you can bail out from the combat. Also, we try to don't make death a hard thing on Endless RPG. For example, if your character dies, it will go back up in a day and a half. Game days, it will be about 90 seconds. So if you wait it out, it will wake up from the fainted state, and you can heal, even heal them on dialogues. There are recovering dialogues in the game. There are potions that you can use. There are items that you can revive the character. So it's not a death-centered heavy game. So death happens, you can lose, but the only thing that you can lose really is, okay, I lost that battle, but I can continue to play, you know?
So, like, is there a negative to the player if they die? Like, obviously you said time pass, I understand it's a living world, stuff like that. Is that more like the negative is like, hey, I can't control kind of what's shaping quite the same?
Are you talking about the living world, right?
How the living world kind of connects to like when you die, or kind of how the time kind of flows through that.
Yeah, that can be a problem, because when you die, if you not only die with one character, you have 4 to 6 characters in your group, but if you die with all of them at the same time, the games wait for about 5 days. You probably lose all the quests that are time sensitive, and the world goes on while you're down, and they probably won't continue in a good way, you know, because if the towns are undefended, there are conflicts brewing everywhere, and you're not there to control things that you like to control, then probably when you wake up after several deaths accumulated, the world will be in a worse state than before, you know?
Okay. So what kind of, when we say worse state, what is it kind of like? Imagine I was playing, I died, and kind of the world state kind of became worse. What does that function mean? Is it like harder enemies? Kind of, is there more chaos going on? What does that kind of look like?
A lot more chaos, a lot of hotspots will pop up on the map, and those hotspots that we call that on Endless RPG evil centers. Okay, they will pop up everywhere. They will level up. They will raise cities all around them, and even without those evil centers, if one town is with a beef with another town, they can attack each other until they destruct each other, you know? So when you wake up, the towns will be weaker, and you can only sell and do things in towns and learn skills and etc. and get some quests and get some money. And as time progresses on that kind of chaos, you will be left with fewer options. So it's interesting for the player to continue on marching on without losing the entire party.
I've got to ask, is there kind of a net worse state for this world that's possible, or is it because of the generative nature it can just get worse and worse and kind of worse as it progresses?
You say about the something behind the curtains that
No,
can
I guess
push the scenario?
I guess kind of like so obviously this is a world that's like very live generated. It reacts stuff. It's procedural.
Yeah.
Like as we said, like if you die and like the world gets worse, kind of it'll get worse. Is there kind of a natural like, hey, it's designed in a way that kind of this is the hardest to play or happen to the player, or is it like where like in theory if I keep messing up and I keep getting worse, I keep going down this worse and worse spiral?
Yeah, it will. It's not a forced state. Sometimes nothing can happen even. Yeah, when you get a complete party wipe, and you wake up and okay, I just lost my quest and everything is okay. But if you do that constantly, the world starts to react to itself, but not to you, because you're downed for the count, and you'll not be able to interfere in what's going on. So for the player, it becomes harder from time to time, but it's still totally possible to continue to play the game, or even if you are tired from that world, you can start a new one too.
Okay. No, that definitely makes sense. But kind of jumping in, obviously. So what's interesting is obviously this game is going to be in early access coming out in March. Is that still the case?
Yeah, it will be much the case. We are going to start the early access on the second week of March, but we are still doing a lot of updates, almost bi-weekly or weekly updates for the game, even the demo that's out now.
Wow. So I was going to ask. So obviously, so as you said, the demo is currently available. People go download on Steam. Has the feedback kind of for that demo been kind of roughly what you expected it to be, kind of, or did any like interesting, unexpected kind of responses come out of that demo?
Well, let me tell you that was a very interesting reception that Endless got. The version that I published for the demo right now, it's almost the full game at it's 70% development state. So it will be locked on February as a demo, a proper demo for the Steam Fest and etc. But now there are people that are playing for over 20 hours in the demo, and older players that played the first one are playing the second, and I'm getting a lot of very good feedback, and I kind of invaluable feedback, because for the seasoned players that play a lot of Battle Brothers, the game was it's kind of easy. They could get their way around the game, but for most of the players that are not that experienced with turn-based combat, it was very difficult for them. So at the first levels, I try to keep it as friendly as possible for the player to play the game without having a party wipe every wrong turn that they did.
Yeah, I was gonna say that probably is the problem, is the that growth part. So that's interesting to me how big the demo is in respect to the early access game. Well, I'm kind of curious. Obviously, like it's very common for a demo to be like a small pocket of a game. If it's like a small game, maybe a few levels, kind of it's a level-based game. Is there a reason that you decided the demo should be kind of this available and this amount of content kind of in it comparatively to what the early access release is going to be?
Yeah, we don't have a big community behind Endless RPG, and I really, really needed feedback. So I thought to myself, so if I make it as broad as possible for now, for January, I could get that invaluable feedback that I'm so desperately in need of. So that's why I keep it open just for January, but from February to until the end of time, until from now on, the demo will be locked at so all players, all characters can be up to level 3, and your campaign can span for 25 in-game days. So after that, the demo is locked for that gameplay. You can get a new a new game slot inside Endless RPG and play for 25 more days. But on March we are planning to launch the early access. So the early access will have none of that. It will be the full game that I'm developing.
Perfect. So obviously, early access is going to change the game a good chunk, and that's very natural. Is there some end goal that you have in mind that you're kind of talking to people about, being like, hey, I expect like the final game compared to the early access launch to be like more characters, kind of what kind of like just more balance changes? What kind of, as a player, should I broadly expect to be kind of changing during this early access period?
Well, I'm doing a lot of work in the background here, making more dialogues, more events. Right now, I'm doing the timed events that will happen every so often when things are calm. So if the player is going about their lives on the world and nothing very too serious is happening around them, it will pop up an event for them to solve and have a dialogue, and there will be legendary weapons that we are planning to do, that there will be character objects that are quests in of itself. So what else? There are characters master so those objectives can lead to master skills, so unique skills that you can learn from those quests. Another thing, the two most important things that will be changing, it will be some locations in the map. You will get a proper quest, like there are 5 mysterious seals in the world, mysterious portals that you can interact and have a quest inside them, and the agents that will roam the map. So the hotspots, like the evil centers, will not be the only thing that the player should be worried about, because the agents will roam the world, they will walk around the world doing all kinds of havoc. And there are 5 of them that I'm planning to do.
No, that sounds like there'll be a lot of growth kind of going on during this early access period. So obviously,
Yeah.
As we've been talking, the game is Endless RPG, Untold Tales. Obviously, it's a deep RPG. Players will be messing with it for hours, kind of finding all these systems, tweaking it. Is there anything that you feel, either system-wise, story, anything like that, that you feel like we have missed that you want to discuss or shout out, kind of that people kind of know going into and learning about this experience?
Yeah, I'm trying to make the quests as dynamic as possible, but that's take a lot of time to and effort to make. And I'm trying to make, how can I say, interchangeable pieces that will tweak and change as the player goes by. So the major quests that they will tackle more down the line will have more interesting objectives and a little more about their story. We already have that on some locations, the evil centers, the ruins, and the caves. They have some dialogues that are very that look at their party, look at what you're doing, and change things up. And one thing that you said about the players and the playtime, that the kind of playtime endless usually get, like on endless one that was not that complex. I had players with over 300 hours clocked and doing all sort of shenanigans and having a lot of fun with the first game that was not even half as complex as the second one.
Wow. That it sounds like there's been quite a lot of work going into this.
Yeah, but it's fun. I like when the players can have fun and do their own thing on the game as they like. You know, that was one thing that I really like about that kind of experience on Endless RPG, and I try to tweak that as much as I can. So if I like to do things on a certain way, I could do it. If I want to do other things, I should be able to. So any kind of build works, any kind of grinding strategy usually works too. So that's Endless.
Perfect. Well, again, for people who don't know, then the game is Endless RPG Untold Tales. You can go check out that demo currently on Steam. It is coming soon to early access. Go wishlist the game, and if you don't buy it right away, it is great for all those fun analytics in the back end, and every developer is great for more wishlists. Trust me on that one. Again, I want to say thank you for taking time to talk to me this afternoon for you about Endless RPG. Obviously, as we said, the game's currently available on Steam. Is there any other spot that we should be sending people? I saw you have both like a YouTube, a Blue Sky, anything else that we're kind of missing?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. I post some videos about the Endless there, and I'm mostly active on Blue Sky. So if you look for me, Kazarus, I'm the only one there with that name.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you for taking time to talk to me today, and best of luck as you are heading straight into this early access launch, and hopefully it all works out well. But again, best of luck, because these final few weeks heading in are always the extra stressful part. So I like to tell people, get sleep, remember to eat, and best of luck on your launch.
Thanks a lot, mate.